So our first unit is dedicated to the rhetorical analysis, and that is a type of writing, like a comparison contrast essay, a problem solution essay. A rhetorical analysis is a genre of paper, and the kind of goal of this essay is to really kind of just get your feet wet and really focus on all of the things that you guys learned in English 111, like structure, organization, development, analysis, critical thinking. And I feel like this is kind of the perfect assignment to do with that because it focuses on argument. And English 111 really ends with you guys delving into kind of a position, taking a position, taking a stance, taking an argumentative position on a given social issue and creating an argument of your own. So rhetorical analysis, I know that it's this big, giant, crazy, scary word that sounds a lot more complicated than it really is. So let's look at what what a rhetorical analysis means for you guys. And the best place to start is to look at the word rhetorical. And you guys have all heard of like rhetorical questions, right? Or rhetoric. Let's look at the heated, violent rhetoric of someone's speech, or something like. You guys have all heard of that word, rhetoric. Well, what does rhetoric mean? And rhetoric is really the study and practice of persuasion. It's looking at, I mean, what's at the root of an argument, right, is your ability to persuade somebody. If not to see your point of view, at least be open enough to consider that your views are valid. So essentially, what rhetoric is, it is using language effectively, as a key word, effectively, to achieve a desired purpose. How do you use language to suit your needs? How does an author use his or her language to achieve a desired goal or a desired purpose? So rhetoric, rhetorical, language. What is analysis? Well, analysis is when you break something down and really examine the various parts or components of something to interpret some sort of meaning, or how breaking down something to figure out how it works as an argument, as an essay, as, I mean, think about if you break apart a piece of machinery down to its bits and pieces, and then you want to, I mean, to figure out how that piece of machinery works. Analysis is kind of the same thing. So if we put those two together, rhetoric, rhetorical, analysis, rhetoric is language, effective use of it, analysis, how something works. A rhetorical analysis then attempts, it analyzes or looks at how an author's attempt to persuade an audience works. It analyzes the strategies that an author uses to achieve a goal, an end game. And it usually focuses on how effective an argument or a position is presented. So essentially, a rhetorical analysis asks us to do a couple of different things. First, it asks us to understand how texts create meaning. Not what meaning it creates, but how it creates meaning. It also asks us to look at how an author constructs knowledge, and how an author tries to convince us to take some sort of action. Now, I know that sounds complicated right off the bat, but in a nutshell, to water it down to its bare basics, what a rhetorical analysis does is it asks us to examine how effective a text is. In other words, is the author's argument a good one? Not whether or not you agree. That has nothing to do with whether or not something is effective. It's whether or not the argument is presented and constructed in a cohesive, clear manner. Is it persuasive, objectively speaking? And it is objectively speaking. Okay, so I'm going to stop here now that I've kind of gone over what a rhetorical analysis is, and I'm going to pick up in a different video talking about the rhetorical situation.